These are the most extreme, serious sanctions, financial sanctions that have ever been imposed. Bear in mind that FDR froze Japanese bank accounts and stopped exports of oil to Japan in August 1941, 4 months before Pearl Harbor. They say that the supply chain is not a big part of the economy. It is the economy. And we're going to shut that down with what we're doing to Russia. So, not nice guys, and I'm not defending the invasion. I'm just saying if you want to use financial weapons, be prepared for the blowback. The thing with the militarists is when everyone else really screws up badly, it gets dumped in your lap. So you're the guys who are going to have to clean up whatever mess comes out of this, as we see in Ukraine right now. And Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, he took both hands and slammed them palm down on the table. Boom! Like that. He goes, the dollar was the global reserve currency. It is the global reserve currency, and it will always be the global reserve currency. What's interesting to me right now is that, in my world, you read, Zero Hedge or Credit Suisse or Wall Street Research, but the buzz is, wait a second, look around. China and Russia are going to get a lot of gold and develop cryptocurrencies and get out from under dollar hegemony, and they're going to do an end run around the dollar, and it's the end of the dollar. It's like, yeah, that was chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Currency Wars, which I wrote it in. It came out in 2011. A lot of the writing was done in 2010, but it's based on an actual financial war game, the first financial war game that the Pentagon ever did, and I was a facilitator and a participant. But that was the scenario we launched, which is that Russia and China would accumulate gold. So I guess it's good to be ahead of your time, but if you're 12 years ahead of your time, people forget you ever did it. But we warned the Pentagon. And the fact is, at the time we did that war game, Russia had 600 tons of gold. Today, they have 2,300 tons of gold. In other words, they did exactly what we told the Pentagon they would do. And now that, and I've had many other discussions at the Pentagon, CIA and elsewhere, the Fed and the Treasury for that matter, where I explain this to them. And they either yawn or I remember one incident, I was at the Pentagon, I was one seat away from the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, and I outlined the scenario. I said, look, if you keep using dollar sanctions, people are not punching bags. You can hit it and hit it and hit it, but one of these times they're going to get out of the way, and they're going to say, okay, enough. I'm getting out of the dollar system because you're using the dollar system to take me down. So why would I be in that system? And it's easier said than done. But I kind of outlined the scenario, and this Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, he took both hands and slammed them palm down on the table. Boom! Like that. He goes, the dollar was the global reserve currency. It is the global reserve currency, and it will always be the global reserve currency. And I turned to him and said, David, I feel like I'm listening to John Bull on Whitehall in 1913, at a time when they were quite sure that sterling would always be the global reserve currency. So I kind of left it at that. But here we are, I think, at a point where these sanctions, and I've read them all, it's like 100 pages of material. New ones are coming out every day, but I did a deep dive on it for some clients. And the first announcement was like nothing. That was a nothing burger. But the second round that Biden issued and the Treasury issued on, I think, February 26th, that's the real deal. They're shutting down the Russian economy. However, the unanticipated or unexpected consequence of that is that big hunks of the economy, starting with Russia and China, are going to get out of the dollar system. So it's kind of a big deal. So that's what I've been doing the last 40 years. So it's exactly what I've encountered over and over again in the U.S. government, and worked for government agencies, but met with many others in many different contexts. So I had a meeting at the Pentagon once with a kind of spooky office called ONA. Like, what's ONA? That's the Office of Net Assessment. Sounds like the most boring outfit you could think of, except they are the futurists. They are the deep thinkers. They're the ones who are supposed to look 5-10 years ahead, see where power is going, and get ready now. So it's a pretty important job. And there was a guy in that position for like 45 years. When I met him, he was 91, but sharp as a tack. I mean, it's not like an age thing. This guy was very on top of it. He was the head of it. And I took him through one of these scenarios, and I was talking at the time about the SDR, the special drawing right. You say SDR, people think it's a strawberry daiquiri in the rocks, but it's a special drawing right, which I call world money, because it is world money. They just don't want to call it that because it's kind of spooky. But I said, Mr. Marshall, I said, the figure's 92, I can call him Mr., but it is, I said, Mr. Marshall, I said, the day will come when your destroyer will pull up to a fuel depot in Singapore and you'll say, fill her up. And the guy will say, fine, pay me in SDRs. And said, for the first time in over a century, you're going to have a forward deployed military that you have to pay for in a currency that you don't print.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.